Hey everybody, QG here. This is the follow-up video to the Most Wanted Total Drama Character Concepts Quick Clicks.
And hello there, my name is the WritersBlah. I am not a prolific YouTuber like my friend QG here, but I suppose I'm good enough to be here in the first place, so I guess that counts for something.
Yeah, he just recently got all caught up on Total Drama and he writes a lot, so I figured it'd be cool to have him on for a video like this. So thanks for thanks for stopping by.
No worries, dude. I appreciate this. This is so weird. It's a show that I always knew existed, and I was always like, yeah, I'll get to that one day, and I just never did until you were like, hey, we should watch this together, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Finally, an excuse to watch this show. And yeah, no, I dug it a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so we will start with the character concepts I came up with because I don't think you've seen the video I made yet. So I had
I have not.
5 ideas for characters. So the first one is a Murphy's Law-esque character, which essentially means, I don't know if you've heard of Murphy's Law, it just means anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So basically, a character similar to like Milo Murphy from the show Milo Murphy's Law. Just a character that brings on chaos all around them, unbeknownst to them, or that kind of thing.
Just kind of like a bad luck magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good finalist.
Sounds like a good finalist. The second character concept I had was like a journalist. So someone who would come onto the show and sort of basically try to get the show sued to some degree. Via like, oh, I'm gonna interview you and see what your life is really like here, that type of thing.
Got it. So like basically like a weird fusion of like Sierra, Courtney, and like Ellie, I think.
Do you mean Millie?
Millie, I'm sorry.
You're fine. Okay, the third character I came up with was similar to Jack Horner, which essentially means bringer of chaos. I am become death type deal. just like the worst, the absolute.
You're not really gonna shoot that contestant, are you? Yeah, in the face. Why?
The fourth out of 5 concepts was, okay, so this is a really weird one, but you've heard of Nerf guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea is that someone would have like a vest full of those type of Nerf guns, and then just sporadically throughout challenges, they would like utilize different types of Nerf guns and bullets to like help them out. I don't know why I thought of this, but it kind of didn't leave me, like, kind of Bloodsport-esque. I don't know if you've watched Suicide Squad or not.
I haven't, but like this is bringing to mind like sort of like just like an insane sort of like gun-toting like Republican, except they're like just got Nerf guns instead.
Yeah, kind of visually that's probably what it'd be similar to, yeah. And then the 5th one and final one I presented was a character that wears glasses that isn't geeky or geeky over something. Just one time would be nice.
Come on, guys. We have non-nerd glasses wearers.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we're going to get into the comments. So the first comment comes from Brendan6555. They said, I thought of a theater kid archetype. Would be pretty funny and would fit in with the 2023 modern teen stereotypes. Another idea is a critic character who's basically Total Drama's biggest hater, lol. It would be amazing to see in a fan fiction setting, but would probably be too cringy in an actual canon season.
Yeah, first one, theater kid energy. Absolutely could see that. Just someone who like just does warm-up exercises like in the middle of just the challenges.
Yeah,
sounds like a really funny idea. As a former theater kid myself, I'm like, yeah, that would probably be really funny. Yeah, no, like, and you can take that like in multiple different directions too. You can dial back or dial forward how annoying you want them to be, depending on like what you need the character to do. Um, it's a very flexible option. Just having like a theater kid type character works really well for total drama, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the critic type character. Yeah, I kind of agree with the assessment that like would probably work better like in a fan context than like in an actual season, because like just hearing that made me think of like what if Doug Walker was on Total Drama, and I was like, oh gosh, I would hate that so much.
It's just his intro every time he's on screen.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all right character concepts. They're not my favorites I've ever heard, but they're certainly not bad or anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The next one comes from 8 Nico Pink 868. We got quite a few here, so I'll go one at a time. The first one is a pretty boy character that, though acknowledged as handsome, doesn't use his looks to get ahead of the competition or is just there to be a love interest. In parentheses, they put kinda hoping they do this with Caleb in the next Total Drama Island 2023 season. I totally agree with the Caleb assessment. I really hope he's just a normal guy and not Justin 3.0 or whatever, depending on how you count Alejandro.
I was about to say that's basically just Trent, I think.
Oh, well, I suppose so, yeah. I keep forgetting in universe he's like considered like a ladies' man because he's
supposed to be attractive.
He's
yeah.
just forehead.
No, but like getting a like another take on that could be interesting, yeah.
Yeah. The next one is a female character that uses flirtation as a tactic. We've had 2 male antagonists that have used flirtation, but most of the female antagonists hardly ever use it, even if it seems like an obvious tactic. I assume they mean like as like their main method of villainy, but I do believe Heather did that from time to time, at least.
Yeah, Heather did dabble in flirtation here and there. She didn't do it often, but like she did use it at points. I remember she used it. I think it was towards Duncan. I think in the first season.
Yeah, final 4 of Island. It's how they got all their stuff from them, kind of.
Yeah. Though granted, she doesn't do it as often as you would think her character archetype would do. But you know, maybe that's. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. But in terms of like conceptualizing a female character that used flirtation as their main tactic of like kind of like manipulation, that's a very very tangly minefield that you have to kind of dig through, because if you write that character poorly, Twitter's gonna be on your ass for good reason.
Twitter gets on Total Drama quite a bit anymore, to be fair already, but
you know what? That's fair.
Justifiably most of the time, but you know.
Yeah.
The next one is a Daredevil character that is way too enthused to participate in challenges, no matter how dangerous or insane or sadistic from Chris's part. They're just an adrenaline junkie. I love that.
That sounds really fun. That reminds me of the freaking the Daredevil character from Toy Story 4. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Duke Kaboom, I think.
Duke Kaboom, yeah.
Voiced by Keanu Reeves.
But yeah, no, it's like almost like taking like the enthusiasm that Topher has, but like specifically towards the challenges. No, I can see that. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it feels like an interesting blend of like Topher and Scary Girl, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, the next one is, I've always heard people headcanon that Heather kept winning immunity or being kept from being eliminated because the producers kept her around to generate drama, given how mean she blatantly was and how people quickly grew to dislike her. I guess as a quick aside, that is a popular headcanon for Island, is that producers kind of work behind the scenes on certain stuff to ensure Heather makes it far as a means of generating drama.
An interesting theory. Oh, it's a plausible one.
Yeah, especially based on how certain characters get the boot, such as Lindsay or DJ or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The actual concept, though, is I'd like to see an antagonist that has this concept straight up. An antagonist that doesn't hide how nasty or underhanded they are and hardly anyone likes them, yet they seem to either always win immunity or somehow always be kept from being eliminated. Add a character that picks up on how weird this is and investigates what's going on as well.
The latter part, I think, is what makes it work. I think if it seems like, oh wait, am I allowed to swear on the video?
I suppose just like, preferably keep it at a minimum, but like, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What I was gonna say was, if it sounds like bullshit, but they actually like treat it as such in universe and actually make something of it, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is, I'm genuinely surprised they haven't really done a skater character. Seems like an obvious concept. Yeah, I suppose. I think the issue with that is personality-wise, they'd probably just be really, really similar to, like, Trent.
Yeah, no, I get that. The problem with, like, having a skater character, I think, is because the skater dude archetype is kind of outdated. Plus, we already sort of have that with Jeff. Like, he's not a skater per se, but he still kind of fits into that whole like X Games 90s aesthetic.
Yeah. I sort of see what you mean by that. I don't think the stereotype being outdated would be a problem, though. This is total drama.
That's fair.
The last one from them is a positive team leader and someone who really takes care of the group, who's such a team player, it's kind of hard to tell if they're genuinely looking after their teammates or if they're just pretending to be nice.
Funny that you say that. That was actually my thoughts going into the last season with Priya. I was proven wrong, but like,
yeah,
I actually suspected Priya of like pulling a fast one for a while.
Yeah, I remember that. It's funny internally because it's like, no, she's just nice, I promise. The next one comes from the oh god, I don't remember how to say your name, I'm sorry. The Epic E-Man 8351. This is, as far as I'm aware, this is probably my favorite that I read. I might have already brought this up with you. The idea is a character who only joined the show to get injured and sue the show. He would try to get injured, but wouldn't be able to, and it would be a running gag that everything goes perfectly for him to not get hurt.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's perfect. Oh my gosh, I want that character now.
It sounds like real too. Like that sounds like an actual character.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yes.
I feel like you could sort of blend it with the previously mentioned like critic character as well.
That's true, yeah.
Because I know Total Drama likes to sometimes overlap stereotypes on top of each other too.
Mm-hmm. Just to not make characters too boring.
Yeah. The next one is from Lyoko Gem. They say a basement dweller who hasn't really seen the outside world and was kind of forced to audition by his parents to get out there would be fun. Could have them be a punching bag and have them stay the same, or have an arc where they develop and get some sense knocked into them. So a bit of a mix between Ezekiel and Cameron, and maybe a touch of Ripper.
Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking too. I was thinking in my head like Zeke but good, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna like Zeke but good, but go on.
Screw you guys. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, damn it. Yeah, having a neat type character, in Total Drama it's funny because, like, the archetype tends to get, associated more with, like, the anime, scene. But, I mean, having, like, just sort of like a shut-in type character who's just sort of, like, looking at the world around them with, like, a lot of, like, suspicion, like, a lot of, you can make that either really funny or really tragic, and it depends on like where you want to take it.
Yeah, and I feel like they did explore that quite a bit with Cameron, but I see what they mean, that it could definitely be like established or added upon more.
Yeah.
The next one or next two come from ShadowCow3486. They're both in response to some of my ideas. So, their first one is for the bad luck character concept. I very recently had this idea of a character who comes onto the show carrying the legacy of a family curse that whenever they get close with someone outside of the family, that person ends up badly injured in some way. So the character is obviously a very sad person, and they decide that total drama could be a way for them to actually use their curse in a way that benefits them. That's pretty interesting.
That seems, yeah, so, that character type probably already, like, I'll be honest, this already sounds like you're on your way to developing, like, an actual, like, full character with that. With that concept. Yeah, like, most of these character concepts that we've talked about are, like starting points, like ideas to spark a character centered around that gimmick. This feels like you've already started to sort of develop a character for the show already, and you're like 30% of the way there. Whereas most of these are only like about like 5% of the way there.
Yeah. I think the idea of weaponizing the curse is what makes it really interesting to me.
That is pretty fun. I do quite like that idea. So, yeah, it's kind of like, it's a little bit Nagito-ish, where they're, like, using the fact that they have, like, this weird, like, luck curse or whatever to manipulate, like, the world around them. But in a way that benefits them. Yeah, like, I can definitely see ways where you can make that really interesting.
Yeah. And then their other character concept was then for the Jack Horner Chaos type, I have an OC that's very similar. Their title is the Unrootable Underdog. He's a child prodigy from a small town who thinks very, very highly of himself. He has absolutely no regard for anyone and only does things to benefit himself, all while seeing himself as the one who's in the right. So, like, yeah, that's kind of a simple character description, but I get the gist.
Yeah, sounds like someone very annoying to be around, but, you know, Total Drama's done super annoying characters before to good effect, too. So,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Okay, the next couple come from Chase Lays. It's in a bunch of different capitalization and numbers and letters and stuff. They say, I have over 9 generations of OCs and 170 plus characters. I have a lot of unique concepts, but here's my favorite 3. So their first one is the famous villain. This villain uses their fame and allure to enhance their placement in the game, making false promises to lure people into alliances, such as, you can be at my next gig if you vote with me, or if we stick together, maybe I can add you to my band, etc. They'd use their popularity and worldwide fame as a manipulation tactic, and I think that's great. So, kind of like an antagonistic Nichelle, I guess you could say, where they just use intense bribery to get farther.
Yeah, this basically sounds like a fusion between, like, Nichelle and Alejandro, to be honest.
Yeah, which would be cool. I think it'd be a neat concept.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm admittedly a little worried that is the direction they'll take Nichelle next season. I kind of don't want that. I don't really know who is going to be the antagonist of next season, though, if I'm being honest. Like, I keep thinking it over, and I'm just not sure who quite fits.
We can take that discussion for next time.
Yeah. Next up is an extremely superstitious character. I'm working in adding this into my Gen 10 as a gag, but this would be a character extremely dependent on luck and coincidence. Their design would incorporate lots of clovers and dice, etc., and they do a ton of traditional luck superstitions. Not like Trent, though a bit more toned down, like don't open an umbrella indoors or don't walk under a ladder. So, okay, so the superstitious character exaggerated to total drama degree, basically.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, they mentioned Action Trent. I was also thinking of World Tour DJ to a certain extent.
Oh, yeah, World Tour DJ. Although I suppose that's in the opposite direction a bit.
True, yeah.
From there, we have, and lastly, I think an ex-reality TV star character would be great. This is a character in my season 11 fanfic, and she's a favorite. The premise is this character would have became famous off of a reality show like Dance Moms or Toddlers and Tiaras, etc., and she'd be coming on the show to make a better name for herself whilst trying not to be recognized. That's cool.
That's actually my favorite concept so far, from at least from the ones mentioned from these three. Yeah, I haven't really gotten into it because, well, I mean, I don't really speak in the total drama fandom, like personally. But one of the things I've always really liked about the series is sort of its meta commentary on reality TV in general. So having a character that draws from that into their character and like weaponizes it and is like a large part of their character sounds inherently interesting to me.
Yeah, it's almost surprising they haven't done anything like that yet. Like
yeah, I mean, like
the closest you get is Owen and Noah in Redonkulous Race, since they're reality TV pros. But even then, that's obviously not what the focus of their character became or anything like that.
Right, yeah, and then like you have characters like Anne Maria or Sugar, who are clearly pastiches of popular like reality TV programs of, you know, Sugar Honey Boo Boo, and freaking Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they're clearly just meant to be like pastiches of those shows. They're not literally like sort of like, oh, I'm from this show called you know, the freaking like Jersey Beach, and I'm like really famous now. Yeah, not like that. But that would be interesting though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an inherently interesting concept for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
The next one comes from Hidden Ability 4724. This is a sleuth type character that's trying to find the other character's secrets. Could be used to manipulate, could just be used to get others to do better in challenges. I'd prefer the latter just so we don't have another character who's evil because they use strategy for once. Bonus, if there's a troublemaker that they constantly have a back and forth with.
I was about to say, didn't we already do this character? And then I realized that character was from a fanfic.
Yeah, from one of my fanfics.
Yeah.
Not technically my OC, but yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
It's what I thought of too.
Having an actual character like that in Total Drama would probably be pretty interesting. I think having a sleuth type character, while probably not the focus character, would probably still be an interesting character to have on.
Yeah. Okay, so from there, we have Shadowfry8724. They got a couple brief ideas here. The first one is a girl who enters the competition as like a daddy's girl or comes from a traditionalist family and wants to go out of her comfort zone. This is what I thought Priya's character would be. I mean, still a good chance Priya's character could be that. We haven't seen the, second half, basically.
True, yeah. It sounds like a nicer version of oh gosh, what was the name of the girl in the team in Redonkulous Race with the mom?
Taylor.
Yes, it sounds like a nicer version of Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor was definitely the first character that came to mind. Taylor feels like, I wish they used Taylor better. She could have been like something really like special, but as is, I think she's just kind of like very.
Yeah, same.
It's very fine.
Yeah, she's a great concept for a character, but she's execution-wise just kind of okay.
Yeah. The next one is a cosplayer girl, a girl who will dress up and change each episode in terms of outfit. That sounds like a nightmare to develop, but it sounds fun.
The Mookie? I'm so sorry.
No, because the thing with total drama characters is that they're always, in the same outfit almost all the time. So having a character that would change outfits every single episode, there is no way they would last long. So,
it'd be.
It sounds like a character that only work in a fanfic, not an official setting, just simply due to how shows work.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be hell to animate. Just like on a constant basis, constantly changing like clothes like every other episode, if not every other scene. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, and of course the other inherent thing is since they're a cosplayer, there's a good chance they're going to reference things that are probably owned by other people or at least look kind of elaborate. So
Yeah.
neat,
Does Fresh TV? Oh,
neat concept would probably never happen.
yeah. Does Fresh TV own any other IPs aside from Total Drama?
They own like 16, and I'm not super familiar with their other stuff, if I'm being honest. I know 16 is the main one that they own besides Total Drama.
Gotcha. Yeah, probably not enough properties under their belt to like justify like dipping into their library for cosplay ideas.
Oh, that would be fun though. Or just have
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that they could definitely do that. I think they got enough to work with. The next one is an ROTC girl, a strong girl that has military experience and has a camo outfit. So kind of what Axel looks like on the surface, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say like, isn't that kind of like what Axel sort of is already?
Axel is kind of more of a Sean-esque deal, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, because she's more of like a survivalist or whatever.
Gotcha.
Although for Sean, he's more out of necessity, in a sense, because he genuinely believes in it. Whereas Axel's just like, I just like to prepare or whatever.
Yeah.
The next one comes from Donut Max Gaming 9674. We actually have 4 from them. They say, I got a few ideas in mind. The first one is the band kid. Basically someone who brought a bunch of instruments to the camp to play for everyone in hopes that they would be made famous by the viewers listening to their music. In this case, the character has a band and wants to promote it. Pre-merge elimination.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for early boot.
Yeah, it really does. It sounds like he tries so desperately to get people to like him, but like he's just like constantly making like just a joke of himself.
Like that sounds like a textbook early boot character in my opinion. Not just because they would very easily annoy the cast and probably the audience, but that'd also be a lot of instruments to include and animate as well, which I don't know if you've caught on at this point, but early boots and Total Drama in their like premiere seasons tend to be like visually stand out in quite a few ways, and that would definitely visually stand out compared to a lot of other characters, is just having an instrument on you at all times.
Beardo, my beloved.
Beardo, my beloved, my microphone boy. The next character concept is the movie nerd. Not quite a nerd, but they would be a great asset to the game. They would basically be someone who spends most of their day watching movies, and an ongoing joke would be that each challenge reminds them of a particular moment in a movie where there was a creative way to beat it. They would do that for most of the game until they failed at one point and was voted off by intimidation. Top 6 Salim. Or top
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain did this, but when you were describing the character to me, the voice that I heard in my head was that one like annoying kid from the Polar Express.
Oh god. So him, but actually competent?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god, that'd get annoying really quick, I think. But yeah, yeah, that'd probably be about what he's like, or she, I guess. The next one is the uptight kid. Basically, this person will be someone who's been obedient their whole life and stays that way for a few episodes in the season, but then they gain confidence and learn how to think for themselves. Basically, samey, but with more drawn-out development. Top 4 elimination. I know you haven't watched Disventure Camp yet, but one of the characters in that is basically exactly this concept.
Oh, okay.
She also happens to be the one character I like, so, you know.
Well, I mean, it be that way sometimes.
I don't know, any thoughts on that concept, or?
They sound like a protagonist character, or a sort of like, kind of what Cameron was in Rhodey.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean by that.
Basically, and what I'm saying is the plot kind of revolves around them a little bit.
Yeah. The last character concept from them is the Teamer. This character could be off the rails. Their plan is to lay low during the pre-merge challenges, but then go crazy with alliances in the merge. If they make alliances with everyone and keep them a secret, they won't get any votes and will stay in the game for a while. Eventually, though, they'll get found out. Top 5 elimination villain. So basically, a character who makes alliances with literally everyone and then gets had at some point. That's it's neat.
It's an interesting concept.
It's more just a neat game plan than a character, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's you would need a way to pull that off and make it seem at least a little bit believable. Because like said just like out of context, like in a nutshell, it sounds I don't know, just like I was thinking that like how do you pull that off in a way that's like actually convincing? Because like that sounds like a bit of a challenge.
You could maybe do it in like a like combine it with the previously mentioned idea of like the antag being like a famous celebrity. Like you could combine it with that. Like they use their influence to make alliances and stuff. Like that could be a way to do it. But yeah,
maybe.
On its own, I don't think it's quite enough to be considered a character concept, I guess.
Yeah.
The next ones come from Marino. They've got a couple. The first one is the prodigy child. Someone who's good at certain stuff, but joins the game to make friends and prove for themselves they can do much more. Kind of a concept we already went over, I think.
Yeah,
earlier.
I mean, like, yeah, Priya also kind of already does that too.
Yeah. Overdoing. Someone who likes to help the people around them for no particular reason, sometimes working against them. Okay, so basically someone who's always willing to lend a hand, even if lending a hand ends up being a bad thing for them. So I imagine this would be a character that would like see someone getting chased by a shark and be like, "Don't worry, I'll join you," or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds nice. Unfortunately, it kind of also sounds like they'd probably be like a pretty early game boot also. It's kind of like, it's stuff that I imagine like revised DJ would do, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I like it, but like, it definitely kind of like feels filler character-y, just on the surface of it.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Then we have a nurse. I don't know. I wanted to see someone questioning the injuries and showing some compassion, though they may also be nerdy. Okay.
Well,
maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't really have much to say about it. I was just like, yeah, could work, might not.
That's it. Yeah. The thing is, to justify them being like a nurse, that would basically require them to be an adult, because, earning a medical license takes a long while. So unless they're like a prodigy nurse, or if they're like kind of like an intern or like sort of like, gosh, I forget what like. I'm not well versed enough in medical knowledge to know like what the, I guess, understudy for a nurse would be considered, but like, you could do that maybe.
Could also be like a nurse in training or wanting to be a nurse and pretending they are one or something like that as well.
That's true too, yeah.
The next one is the popular and the normal. Basically a rivalry of two people for merely existing, kind of like what Trent and Jeff seem to have in the Camp TV trailer. I don't know if you remember that or not, but
yeah,
basically the idea of
isn't that already basically like Gwen and Heather though?
Kind of, to some degree, I'd say. Yeah, I wouldn't call Gwen normal, but
that's fair.
I would say that's about right. It would, I guess, it'd just be a different take on that.
That's fair. Yeah.
The last one they mention is a gossiper. And that's it. That's just a gossiper. I feel like it kind of just reaches into typical antagonist behavior, but I do get what they mean to some extent.
Yeah. I mean, antagonist or sort of like a spin on Lindsay, where she, like, you pull that sort of like, maybe not like dumb blonde stereotype, but sort of like that sort of high school girl stereotype of like, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Oh my gosh. Yeah, like that sounds fun.
Katie and Sadie antagonists win.
Oh my god, that's great.
The next one, you may recognize this username, comes from Cactus Cyan. I want a gamer.
Cyan.
Yeah, I want a gamer character, but not a plays little 8-bit games on a knockoff DS gamer like Sam. I mean a proper Valorant esports team, top 500 in Overwatch, world record speedrunner type gamer. I don't know why, I just thought it'd be fun. I guess they'd probably have pretty good tactical and maybe even mechanical skills, but wouldn't be very physically strong for obvious reasons. So
this dude sounds like a chud.
he sounds like his head, like his illustration, like the chin part would be like a square. That's what it sounds like.
Legit, yeah, true. Wow, yeah, like that's I think the problem with doing a character like that, although, you know what, like I take it back. It would actually be really, really funny because I don't know. Maybe this is more my personal experience or my own biases showing, but anytime I have dealt with like a top 500 player, they've been assholes. Just kind of outright. Like on the surface, on the outside of it, they're like kind of like, oh yeah, like I, play the game and whatnot. But like you start speaking to them for like any length of time, and you start realizing, oh shoot, like this guy does like not care about like people in the slightest. Granted, yeah, does make for an interesting antagonist for Total Drama, because like you could have them be like really skilled at challenges, but like be so invested in themselves that like they don't care at all about whether like their teammates actually like do well or not.
Yeah, I suppose I kind of viewed him as more of an Action Justin type, in the sense that he'd be more of a failed antagonist that goes out early. Kind of like personality-wise, I almost envision him as like Island Noah, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, before Noah became like more likable, yeah.
Boy, we still got quite a few to get through. Oh my god, we have quite a lot to get through still.
Ooh.
We're fine.
Oh my.
Okay, next up is, I hope I'm saying this right, Azun Yunho. Azun Yunho. We'll go with that. They have a geeky kid who tries to do his best in the competition, but others in the cast do not acknowledge him. Like, it'll be a running joke in the show where people don't see him or get scared he was there the whole time, and Chris would never give him a marshmallow even though he's safe because he's that forgettable. He would get character development with one of the main protagonists who always shares their marshmallow, makes sure that he's heard, but everyone else thinks that the protagonist thought of it and that type of deal. Would make it to merge easily due to being under the radar. Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of Island Herald a little bit.
Island Herald, I guess. I get what you mean in the sense of like geeky kid who tries to do his best, but they don't really value his worth or something like that. He's definitely noticeable though.
That's true, yeah.
So
yeah, in terms of actually someone having, yeah, the gimmick of having them like just like be under the radar constantly. I mean, the thing about that is that you have to pull it off well, because in universe the characters aren't paying attention to him, but the audience is, and like so you have to do it in such a way where it's still believable that the other characters like aren't really paying attention to him, as almost like a running joke, but isn't done in such a way where it's either A, obnoxious enough to annoy the audience, or B, boring enough where the audience wonders, why is this guy even here?
Yeah.
But I think it could be done well. I think there is a way that this character exists and is actually pretty fun. It's just, I think, tough to pull off.
Yeah, I think I agree with that assessment. The other character concept, this is a little lengthy, is my main villain would also stay under the radar. He'll be the one that has the relationship arc that you'd see from Gwen and Trent, Mike and Zoe, Sky and Dave, etc. The only reason you'd not know he's the main villain is because there will be secondary villains, one in pre-merge and one in post-merge. He'll have a hand in He'll have a hand in eliminating all the contestants by feigning ignorance or leading them towards the other villains, like a flirty girl villain suggesting his male teammates to go for her or something like that. Would even kiss another contestant for his love interest to get mad and vote for the other girl, thinking she came on to him. Honestly, a better Scarlet, who keeps people like Max around, except when his secret is revealed, he keeps winning immunity, like Julia. Basically, his character would be like Hans from Frozen, pretending to be a good guy, just biding his time to win. It makes it harder for people to vote for him, as he is a charismatic leader.
Well, putting the Hans example aside, because you do want to at least have foreshadowing to a certain degree to make sure that it doesn't feel like just like pulling under the rug for the sake of drama.
True.
In concept, Total Drama hasn't done a twist villain yet, actually. Because like I'm going through the list. You have Heather. You have
Julia's
Justin.
close.
Julia is close. You're right that Julia is close, but like
It's not, it's not, like, it's still before the halfway point of the season, so it's like, is it really a twist villain, or is it just, like...
And even then, there is still sort of, like, the preconception that, like, sort of, like, the Instagram model type is sort of, like, being vapid and fake in the first place. So, when you strip that away, when she, like, finally breaks and yells at the freaking, what was it, dinosaur? Then, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything just kind of like melts away. And so it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that totally made sense. Actually, I would like a twist villain where like it's actually like an actual shock, but not one that feels like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what you think of this Venture Camp.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so this next one comes from Big Bobby Lives XD 5604. Quite a username. They say, I have a couple...
Bobby Lives.
I have a couple that I like the idea of. A British guy. I mean, like, kind of a straight main character who happens to be from a rich British family. That's the concept.
I mean, way to stereotype British people though over there, dude. But I mean,
no, I know.
I mean,
right?
like, kind of like the idea of having, like, yeah, just like a posh, proper Englishman as a character does sound entertaining, at least.
Yeah. I think a Boy Scout would also be pretty interesting. I can picture them as having a ton of random skills like Harold, but with a similar attitude to someone like Brick. I don't think they're aware that Harold actually is, like, a scout to some degree. So they basically just described Harold. For my last one, we've seen a couple huge Chris fans in the show. How about a Chef fan? Give my guy Chef some spotlight with his own fanboy or girl. So yeah, maybe like someone who takes up cooking with him.
Yeah, it would be nice to like actually like have an excuse for Chef to like, do stuff again.
Yeah. Like what he's getting in the new season is nice, but a little more.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. The next one comes from Pokemon Angel 9647. I have this idea of a girl character who's a parody of the main character in a K-drama. I think it'd be a fun idea, and you can do so much with the idea.
Huh.
That's it. They don't give much elaboration, but I kind of see what they mean.
Yeah, I admittedly don't have enough experience watching K-dramas nor to be able to like comment on that properly, but it does tie into sort of like this idea of like sort of like big dramatic, like maybe not reality TV, but like definitely like in the realm of like live action drama on that's meant to be entertainment. So yeah, I can definitely see something like that. I think K-dramas have sort of definitely like carved out enough of a niche for themselves to warrant a character like that. Yeah.
The next one comes from Bar Punch 352. They say the inverse of Dakota's arc, an intern becoming a contestant. Totally not me wanting the pizza girl intern from the revival to have a bigger role or anything. Character she's referred to being like the intern that gets distracted by Caleb in like episode 1. A lot of people like her.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I can see that. That sounds cool. Granted, in order to pull that off, you basically kind of have to like start with a slightly smaller cast so that you can like introduce them in later, and find a way to like justifiably do it and have the audience be like, What? What do you mean you're just throwing in a new one just like in the middle of the show?
Yeah. I mean, it happened with Blaney, I guess. But people didn't like Blaney, so. Next up is from. Ooh. Ami Tavrashmi 17. I think I said that right. Personally, I want someone who's self-sacrificing. I know Britt kind of fits the role already, but what I mean is someone who sacrifices their health and body in order to keep others safe. A bit like how Danny Phantom lets Dash bully him instead of others because he knows he can take it. Okay. Maybe?
I can see that. I can see it working out. Yeah, like... Granted, I think the thing about Total Drama is that, like, having a character like that, is basically like setting them up to reach a breaking point. Like they take it and they take it and they take it and you see them like slowly losing their sanity over time.
Yeah.
Until eventually like they just like snap. And then they either become the antagonist or get booted off. One or the other.
Yeah. Usually more the latter. Sometimes both in Scarlett's case.
Yeah, exactly.
The next one comes from Total Drama Joseph 146. It's a girl who lives in India. Her name is Kiki. She's very insecure. She got bullied when she was younger, and from there has struggled to be social around people. She's distant to everyone because she's so insecure on what people would think of her. She's coming to Total Drama to gain more confidence, become more social, and find her own strengths and weaknesses. She doesn't know if she will make any friends, but if she does, she thinks she might let the game get to her in a bad way.
Well, it sounds like you've already got a character in there.
Yeah. That's a character. That's not a concept anymore. Like,
yeah, like
not a bad
legit,
thing.
You can like, yeah, you can at this point write your own like pastiche of Total Drama or like some other reality show or like heck something else like completely different. Include Kiki in it, and bam, you've got a story on your hands. Now just revise it like 5 times over, and maybe you can publish it.
Maybe. The next one comes from Ali Herbert 6453. I always thought it'd be cool to have someone who tried to be like Heather. Also, for the glasses thing, we have Tom. Tom does not count. He is geeky about fashion. It's not the same. He is not a typical guy who just wears glasses. I assume what they mean when they say someone who tried to be like Heather is someone who like literally dresses up and pretends to be like her island self or something like that, like an imposter, like an actual imposter.
Fun. Like just like a mean girl wannabe. That sounds really fun, actually. Oh my gosh, that sounds hilarious.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of oh gosh, what's her name? Do you remember in Fairly Odd Parents? There was always that popular kid clique that had like Trixie, those 2 boys, and like this blonde girl that was like insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I like that. Next up, we have one from Echo Strikes. As stupid as this may sound, an AI character. It wouldn't play out as a surprising reveal that it's an AI. It would be clear from day one of its debut since it wouldn't resemble a human. I imagine it being a living teddy bear for some reason. Okay. Its existence would tie into Pakatu Island and would probably not be taken seriously by most of the other contestants, but would be easily underestimated. So, I guess something similar to like that one recurring bear in Pakatu. Just make that a contestant, I guess.
I'm split on this one. Cause like, for my like sort of aesthetic sensibilities, I love this concept. It sounds great. I'd love a character like that. But on the flip side, it feels a little too sci-fi for Total Drama. Like maybe in the context of Pocket 2 specifically, it could work out. But even then, it's still like a little bit of like, oh man, I like this concept, but like it's like, oh, but I'm not sure if it fits with Total Drama's like general like tone and aesthetic.
I mean,
it feels like
Pockadoo does have the Chris clones, which are kind of already human-esque robots.
that's a good point. Yeah, that is true.
I imagine the character, like, interaction-wise, would be a little stunted, purposefully so.
Yeah.
Next up, we have, I would want someone who plays the game, or this one's from Anne Maria Fan-122. Great username, by the way. I would want someone who plays the game sneaky. Someone who will make friends and act extremely dumb to make the others feel in power and as if they can manipulate them, but in the later stages of the game, they would give them their true colors and what they're capable of and make some sneaky moves.
I mean, that's almost what Scott is.
Oh, yeah, almost. Although this is a bit more blatant twist villain-ish.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Next is from Kevin Acer 4178. We have a lot of brief ones here. A religious character, probably controversial, but a peaceful, good Christian character who helps everyone. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Total Drama doing religion.
Yeah, it's I don't know, dude. Putting a character in Total Drama sounds like Recipe for Disaster, because Total Drama is a show that is made to be irreverent, and having a religious character in there that is, you know, built on the foundation of being reverent towards something, like, unless you're talking about like a fucking like flying spaghetti monster cultist or something, but I don't think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, probably not. No, I think it. Yeah. Next one is a contestant that's always with a pet, like Shaggy and Scooby. Maybe a guy and a raccoon compete together as one. Okay.
That's cute.
Banjo and Kazooie. Gundam, yeah, Gundam. I can kind of see that, yeah. The female Alejandro connects to guys and emotionally manipulates them to get further, maybe not as athletic. I don't know about that one.
I don't know. Yeah, like, doing Alejandro again, but girl sounds both, like, kind of lazy and also kind of misogynistic a little bit, I'm sorry to say. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. Another tomboy like Joe, but good. Rude. Joe is good. I don't know what you're talking about. Evil theater kid. Maybe.
Okay.
Evil.
When you say evil theater kid, do you mean like they're playing an evil character, or like they're actually evil?
I suppose either would be good. I'd prefer the former, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Evil fan / evil Sierra. So like.
Oh, wait, how would that work out? I mean, wait, no, we have that. That's called Topher.
Yeah, I mean, attempts. He's not like, you know, evil, I would say, but
that's true. You're right. Yeah.
He probably would be if he ever came back, though.
Yeah.
Last one is pathological liar, villain that consistently makes well-scripted lies, even when not needed, like their origin, and is seen as perfect. So, literally always lies, I guess. Okay. I feel like she's not a villain, but I do think that's basically what they were going for with Stacy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Although the way that it was that the comment described it, I was thinking like a weird. This is going to be a very strange blend. The thought went to Kokichi and Grunkle Stan.
I didn't expect to hear Grunkle Stan, but okay. I kind of see what you mean. Yeah, like a grifter type.
Yeah.
Oh, this person commented a second time, but some of them are the same, so I'm just going to ignore the ones that are the same. A trader, a person who smuggles stolen objects and some money and makes businesses and deals with like objects and stuff to get what they want. That's definitely different.
Yeah, I kind of like that one, actually. I can see that one actually being a character on Total Drama.
Yeah, like a character that like, you know, has the big jacket, they open it and it's like want to get
Yeah,
farther in the
just like
game.
in the middle, just in the middle of the forest, and they're just like, "Hey, I got I got the goods."
It's like, I got the immunity idol here. You want some?
Or they have like good cooking from chef.
Yeah. A villain couple. Not any extra description there, just a villain couple. Probably
I mean,
close enough to the Ice Dancers, I'd say.
That's literally what I was about to say. Yeah.
Drama queen, person that just creates and instigates drama for fun, maybe hired by Chris for a deal. That could be fun. I think it'd be neat to have a contestant that's like blatantly hired by Chris to stir up.
Yeah,
things.
that sounds like Julia, but like to 11. Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally we have just a blatant cheater. Someone who finds advantages by maybe finding scripts for challenges or rigging / finding loopholes in them. Yeah. I mean, probably should have been a thing already, if anything.
Yeah. No, that sounds. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done that already.
Then we have Eduardo Aguero 1220 says expansion on the glasses idea. Someone who has fake glasses to appear smarter than they actually are, and it's treated like Al's legs or Clark Kent, where when they stop wearing glasses, they get treated differently.
Huh.
Sure, I guess.
I mean, I think that kind of defeats the purpose of the original premise, but like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, why not? It sounds like a detail more than a full character concept.
Yeah.
Like a trait of a character. Next comes from Movie Viewer, though it's spelled Veiwer. A duelist / someone heavy into trading card games like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever knockoff of those they create for the show. That could be pretty entertaining, I think.
Just freaking just dragging Yugi into the total drama.
I'm imagining them wearing like just like a cardboard version of like a dueling disc or something like that.
Now, the question is, like, do you portray them like as a dork who just like likes trading cards? Or do you like go like full on like anime protagonist like energy on them and it's like almost played straight to the point where it's funny?
I would say the latter. That's what I would do at least.
Fair enough.
Because you know, whatever sounds more exaggerated, I think, is what Total Drama goes for.
Fair enough.
A group of 3 girls, possibly Wiccan / spiritual, or just believing they are witches, who end up finding each other because of the show and are based on the Charmed sisters from either the original series or reboot. So basically, a trio of either witches or girls who think they're witches.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Granted, I feel like 3 is like a lot.
I don't think we need 3. Maybe like 2.
Yeah.
Still, it'd be neat. An influencer who specializes in either creepypastas / urban legends or true crime mysterious events. I don't think they do the latter, but the former sounds cool.
Yeah, the former sounds like an actual, like, with the direction that the new Total Dramas are going in, like, that sounds like a character that they would do. Like, yeah, no, I can super see that one.
Yeah. A person obsessed with aliens / alien encounters / abductions and who was possibly abducted or believes they were abducted and might be trying to use the show as a way to get their story out. So like Sean but aliens. Yeah. I like how same line of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. The thing with Sean is that as a character concept, he shouldn't work. Like, at best, he would normally be like an early boot. It's because he's written the way he is that he works as a finalist at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, his whole arc involving detaching himself from his zombie phobia, in a sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this character would be like played straight and get booted early. There's a part of me that wonders if Axel was kind of created in a sense of like, okay, but here's a more realistic depiction of Sean, who just, you know, rubs his team the wrong way 24/7 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
We got 4 left here.
Okay.
So they come from 2 different users. So the first one has 3 of them. It's Sir Killalot 9892. They say a pessimist slash cynical individual who learns to lighten up, denying their own talents, pressured into auditioning. Okay, maybe.
I mean, like, yeah, that's like the start for a character concept. Yeah, like you can look. I mean, granted, it's more like a character arc than a concept. I think. Just having a character that starts off. The thing is that, like, when you say cynical, like, there's a lot of ways that you can make a character like come across as cynical. Like, you can go in a more comedic direction, sort of like Lucy Loud, or you could go like more just like actual like jaded, angry at the world type person, like Val from Arcane.
Yeah.
Vi, I'm sorry.
Vi.
I
was gonna say.
I screwed that up so badly.
Who's
So you can go in either of those 2 directions. And I think, like, both could work in the context of total drama. You would just need to sort of, like, tune them in such a way where they can still carry a decent balance of both comedy and drama.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The next one is a bit controversial, but a devout Christian. However, I like the second part more. Somebody pure or devoted to a code. We kind of already got that with Brick, but it would be neat to see a character concept like that again, just without the religious baggage.
Right, yeah. No, I get that, for sure.
A tomboy character. I don't think we actually got one. A female character who loves getting down and dirty. One of the guys. Amicable. Basically Jeff, but female.
I mean, that's kind of Izzy a little bit. I mean, Izzy's also known as being the crazy chick, but like
Izzy's more the crazy redhead type, I feel like. I think I like the wording one of the guys, because that probably is more tomboy-ish, and I don't think we've gotten any character that's just blatantly like that necessarily.
It's true.
Or just like a character that prefers to be around the guys instead of the girls, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I could see something like that. Like, I was going down the list and I was like, I feel like we must have done that before, right? But like, in that specific way, we haven't. So yeah, I think that would work out for sure.
Yep. And then the last one comes from Deontay Evans-YK3HQ. They say, I want a character who's a member of a K-pop gang. We really need that since K-pop gotten really popular ever since BTS. It would really be nice to see some competitor be part of a K-pop gang.
Huh.
I don't know
enough
about it. So basically it sounds like a band member. Like a Japanese band member. What I actually think would be a little more interesting is someone who's a fan of all that stuff, because that's definitely something that has existed, as far as like saying in quotes your teen stereotypes. That's definitely a trend, is a lot of people liking those groups specifically and being big fans of them. So I don't want to say someone who appropriates Japanese culture, but like,
a weeb basically.
A weeb. Yeah.
Like they walk into the outhouse confessional wearing their merch.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think.
Just have like a massive giant like foam finger in there.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for the comments. Now, I do have one other thing I wanted to ask, which is if you had any off the top of your head of just like original character concepts.
Oh jeez, I was afraid of this question. Oh no, I was like, I've been trying to think of something in the back of my head, like I could kind of come up with something, but like I haven't like come up with anything like solid yet. I don't know if you want to like jump cut to like when I actually like think of something. Because I might be here for a little bit if you leave me to think about it. Gosh, wow.
So I've given
Okay.
I've given you some time to think. Do you have any? Have you thought of any concepts that you think would be interesting or could work?
Okay, so I think I was able to come up with something. More so, yeah, in the sense of like, watching through Total Drama, wanting a specific type of character to show up. And honestly getting kind of close in the last season that just aired, but still not like exactly what I was looking for, but like I don't know, like in the context of like actually like talking about the show, it feels like oh well, this character already basically like got 85% of the way there, so like it's kind of feels silly to like ask for more than that. But like in the context of a video like this, I think like I think it's fine. I think, which is a whole lot of preamble to say. So take a character like Noah, but restructure him in such a way where he feels like a viable, like quote unquote protagonist character. So what I'm envisioning in my head is sort of like this weird blend between Noah, Mike, and gosh, what's the name of the I forgot his name. The name of the guy in the last season who like had never heard of Total Drama before.
Damien.
Damien, yes. So a weird fusion between Noah, Damien, and Mike. So basically like a guy who kind of skews a little bit more like general intelligence-y, but like with the specific sort of like character goal of like, how do I put this? Being like just not a jock, not a nerd, not like a stereotype, sort of like almost a Makoto Naegi of sorts, where like they're kind of like a quote unquote normal guy, but like with the idea that like instead of doing something like Trent, you do something more like he's like just genuinely a nice person, but also like has the wherewithal to like not just totally like kowtow to like the shit like being like pushed around or shenanigans or whatnot. Maybe like is the type of person to like stand in and like protect other people from who are like getting like pushed around, and then they paint a target on their backs for like not like buying into the system. I got it. They're a Sigma male. That's the way to put it.
Oh, so yeah. I think I see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty entertaining one. Oh man, definitely be a punching bag-esque character.
Mm-hmm. But like a punching bag character with grit. That would be the idea, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be a really fun concept, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, just throwing it out there, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't know. It's more of a character I'd have to see play out, I guess, to know for certain.
No, absolutely. Like, that definitely makes sense, yeah. Because, like, you could easily, like, write a character like that very poorly, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of fun having you on for this video. Thank you for joining me and giving your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I know that with the words I've said, I've probably already made enemies with the Total Drama fandom, but, you know.
Just a little bit. I'm sure I've made worse. Don't worry about it. Well, with that being said, writers, thank you so much for joining me for this, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Comment down below any additional thoughts you have, and keep an eye out for more Total Drama and Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl Now videos in the future. Until the next one, peace.
Beast, do it! Feed the algorithm!